Good morning, guys. Welcome to the introduction of geography. I am Ramesh sir of Ramesh IS Academy, having 21 years of teaching experience. Have been to interview twice, and from past 21 years, I am just teaching geography. Right. So I'll be trying to tell what is geography, right? How geography is important for clearing the prelims and how much it will be helping in the mains. Okay, only GS part. Okay, guys. So what exactly geography is, right? So whenever we think the term geography, right? Geography means the drawing of the earth, guys. General term, drawing of the earth. But geography has changed its definitions. Okay. So in the beginning, the term geography was coined by Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes was the person who has coined the term geography, and there is a reason because of which he is called as the father of geography. Right. So in the ancient times, okay, in the early periods of the history, right, geography was a descriptive science. Right. Geography was a descriptive science. It is a part and parcel of the social sciences. So the people used to describe the places surrounding them, right? They used to describe the places surrounding them, right? The areas where the floodings will be occurring, right? The areas where the soils are good, right? The areas which are present at certain elevations or heights so that they can build their houses, etc. Okay, so it was the descriptory science, right? So it was describing the surroundings where the humans want to live, guys. Okay, then what happened? The geography has become the science which is trying to describe the earth as a whole. First, small area where the people are living, right? Then the geography in the world as a whole. Okay, so when we are trying to describe the world as a whole, where the mountains are there, where the plateaus are there, where the plains are there, right? How the mountains are formed, why the mountains are formed, right? What is the reason behind their existence in certain places, etc. was the reason of study or the cause of study. So the scope of geography, which was small area wise, it has enlarged itself to regional and then global. Okay, so the people or the later geographers, they thought, what is the necessary for us to study geography? Until and unless human beings are involved. Okay, just studying the earth, right, where the mountains are there, where the plateaus are there, where the plains are there, how it is helping the humans, right? There is a reason because of which the definition of the geography has been diversified, and the next definition of geography came into existence, which says that geography defines the man and the environmental relationship, in the spatial point of view. Okay, so how the humans and the environment are interrelated in particular place. Again, the place has come into existence. So in the beginning also the place was there, and now also the place has come into existence. So man and the environmental relationship, right? Then what happened? The scope has been again diversified. Then the geography has become an analytical science. Right? For example, nowadays we are trying to analyze the satellite imageries. We are decoding the satellite data, and we are trying to tell in which area what type of weather conditions will be existing in the forthcoming fortnight. Okay, that's how we can save the lives and also save the properties. That's how the geography has become analytical science. We are decoding the satellite data, right? And we are trying to tell in which of the areas the cyclones are going to occur. In which of the areas the intensity will be more, right? In which of the areas you will be having the rainfall, right? In which of the areas they will be experiencing the droughts, etc. So it has become an analytical science, and this has come into existence after the invention of the satellites. Okay, so the satellitic data has been taken and that is been decoded to analyze this. That is the reason because of which it has become an analytical science. So now the people say that geography is a holistic science. Okay, holistic science. It is a science because of which we can understand where the humans have originated, how the humans have evolved. Okay, how the humans have evolved, right? Why the humans are present in certain areas, right? Why certain areas are like devoid of human settlements, right? How the human thought will be going on elaborating in different kinds of environments, right? When the thought process gets elaborated, we will be trying to modify the circumstances or the physiographic conditions so that we can lead our life better. Ultimately, the totality of all the sciences will be revolving around the human being. Right? If they are of no use, if the science is of no use for humans, it is not a science at all. So all the sciences will be utilized or applied so that humans can survive and lead a happy life, guys. Okay, so this is how the geography's definitions went on changing. Okay, so the geography as such, right, consists of two branches. Okay, one is called physical geography, the other is called as the cultural geography. Physical geography is also called as the God-given geography. Right? The cultural geography is also called as the human geography, because the nature, how the nature is, right? So that nature is physical geography. What it is visible to our eyes, the natural geography is called physical geography. So some of the people who are associated with the theological studies, they say that the nature is in such a position or it is having such a description because the God wanted it to be like that. There is a reason because of which they say that it is a God-given geography. Right? But the other geography, the cultural geography, that is the human geography, that is being created by the humans so that they can lead a happy life within the environment or within the physical geography, guys, physical aspects of the earth. Okay, so what we have done, we have changed the places, right? We have cleared the places, we have started cultivation, we have cleared the places, we have come up with the settlements, right? We have cleared the places, we have come up with industries, amusement parks, right? And we have also modified the places so that we can go there and lead a happy life, at least in the form of tourism, etc. So this is how the geography and the human existences both are being classified or divided into two broad branches, but all the two are interlinked. Okay, so I'll be telling you which part of geography is important for our GS, right, and how it is important, right? So the physical geography, when we say that it is a physical geography, right, it consists of geomorphology, right? Physical geography consists of geomorphology. First geography, right? Physical geography, right? The other one is the cultural geography, right? This is also called as God-given, right? This is also called as human. Okay, so what the physical geography consists of, or it is made up of? It is made up of 4 spheres, okay, and 4 branches. Okay, guys. So first branch is called as the geomorphology. Okay, geomorphology is the first branch of physical geography. Geomorphology, right? How the Earth's surface is looking like and how the Earth's surface is going on changing. Okay, guys. So the geomorphology deals with the evolution of the landforms. Okay, deals with the evolution of the landforms, right? How the mountains are created, how the plateaus are created, how the plains are created, etc. Okay, so when we come to know about this, right? The geomorphic features of the earth, right? We can associate this geomorphology with the cultural geography or the human geography. So when you come to know about the mountains, right, you will not be in a position to build the huge settlements, or you cannot go with the economization of the place, or you cannot come up with the industrial projects. Okay, so by studying the geomorphology, you can assess the area, right, for our habitats, okay, and our economic activities. So habitats means the places where we are living, right? So the places where we are living is associated with the demographies. In human geography, there is a branch or a topic called as the demography. In the demography, right, how the people are scattered around the world, right, and where they have built their houses, that is the settlement geography. So that is the habitats, right? Then what type of economic activities are being done, right, for our survival, that is the economic geography. Okay, then comes the climatology. Right, the climatology. So this climatology gives us the insights of the weather conditions of a particular place. Right, what is the big difference between the weather and the climate? Generally, weather is the day-to-day changes which are taking place in the atmosphere of a particular place, day-to-day changes, right? Climate is the overall association of weather conditions for 35 to 40 years. So aggregate of weather conditions for 35 to 40 years will be giving us the climate. So study of the features and phenomena of the atmosphere is called as climatology. How this climatology will be again helping us? Okay, the climatology will be helping us again to build the houses, right, to productivities. What type of productivities can be undertaken in different types of climates? For example, right, if the climate is humid, climate of particular area is humid, which means the hotness and also the humidity, the moisture content is more. In that type of areas, you cannot go with the industrialization, particularly that is related to the iron and steels, because iron and steels will be getting rusted. Right? And in the same manner, the same humid conditions are very much helpful for the textile industries. Because once the cotton yarn is being made from the flint, from the fibers or the flint, if the yarn is being made or the fine thread is being made, right? So at that time, each and every flint is being rotated to make it like a thread-like structure, right? So that is called as a yarning, right? So that will be becoming intact if the moisture content is there in the atmosphere. It will not get broken. Right. So again, the climatology is very, very important for habitats, economic activities, the types of settlements, how the different types of settlements are being constructed. For example, in India, southern India or in the northern and except Himalayas, right, most of the houses, the tops will be having the flat surfaces, chat, what we call, right. So flat surfaces, because our areas are not associated with the snowfalls. Right, in the upper regions of Kashmir where the snowfall is there, right, the tops of the houses will be conical so that it will not allow the snow accumulation. If the snow falls, it has to slide down, right? The same, the habitats, that settlements, types of settlements, and the types of dresses what we wear, right? If it is summer, we will be willing to wear the cotton clothes. Okay, if it is winter, we will be wearing the woolen clothes. Okay, and we will be covering the entire body during the winter because it will be having the chills. Okay, so the climate will be influencing our eating habits. I forgot to tell eating habits also, right? Eating, what we eat depends on the climate in which we are present. For example, North India is known for wheat production. That is the reason because of which the North Indians will be deliciously eating the roti or the chapati. Right? Whereas in South India, the wheat is not produced. Right? Because the climate is not conducive for the wheat production. It is conducive for only the rice productivities. That is the reason because of which all the items related to rice are available in the southern India. So what we wear, how we build our houses, what we eat, everything will be depending on the climatology or the climate where we are living. Right? Then comes the oceanography. Again, the oceanic resources. Right? How the ocean basins are made. Right? What are the different types of resources are available in the oceans? Okay. If we conserve the ocean and the oceanic resources, how it will be helping the biogeography or the environment of the oceans and the total atmosphere of the earth as such. Because the living organisms, they become the part and parcels of the biological cycle. Okay, so the biological cycle of the oceans are associated with the humans because there are lots of the resources are present in the form of the crude oils, right? The fisheries, the pearls, the shells, okay, and the polymetallic nodules, the corals, etc. Right? So the biodiversity will be maintained if you read the oceanography. Right? Then comes the biogeography. Okay, this is related to the distribution of plants and animals on the surface of the earth. Where the plants and animals are in abundance, why the abundance of plants and animals is present in that areas, and why in some of the other areas you are not having the abundancy. Okay, so this is the physical geography, and the physical geography as such is involved with the cultural geography. Okay, so when you read this geomorphology, right, you will be getting certain questions from this geomorphology. Okay, so the landforms. Suppose the river is moving, right? The river is originating in one place, right? And it is flowing, right? So when the river originates and it flows down the mountains, what are the features it creates? Okay, it will be creating the valleys, it will be creating the benches, it will be creating the waterfalls, it will be creating the potholes, etc. Right? And once the river is coming out, okay, then what happened? It is coming into the plains, right? And at the end, it is creating the deltas and all. So when this geomorphology is known, we are trying to know the different landscapes and the landforms formed. Right? And from this geomorphology and the landscapes and the landforms, you will be generally getting 2 or 3 questions. Right? At least one is compulsory in the prelims. At least one question is compulsory. But if you study the geomorphology perfectly, each and every aspect of geomorphology is perfectly known to you, then you can answer any question given in geography. Okay, guys? Any question which is given in geography can be answered very easily if you are perfect in geomorphology. Because as I told, if there are mountains, you cannot construct the industries there. Right? So, what will be the economic activities? How the economic activities can be developed? Like that, we can analyze the situations. Suppose there are plateaus. Right? What type of food crops can be grown? If it is the plain, right, the plain consisting of the different types of soils, what type of crop can be grown? Okay, so that becomes easy by studying just the geomorphology. That is the reason because of which geomorphology is a little bit wider in extent, because it will be telling each and every aspect of the earth, guys. Right? So, as such, direct questions 1 to 2. Okay, but if you understand geomorphology perfectly, you can write and assess and analyze any question which is been asked in the geography. Okay, then comes climates, climatology. Again, 1-2 questions from climates or the climatology, right? So again, when you know the different types of climates, right, you can again go with what type of economic activity can be developed in that particular climatic conditions, right? How we can survive can be known, right? That is the climatology. 1-2 questions will be asked. For example, in geomorphology, what was the question asked, right? They'll be giving you the question to which drumlins. For example, this was the original question which was given in our preliminary examination. What are drumlins? Right? So drumlins are the glacial depositional features. That's it. So until and unless you know what the drumlins are, you cannot go with the options which are given. Right? So for the geomorphology, the general book which is studied is the J.C. Leong, Go Cheng Leong. This is the book which is studied for the geomorphology. But nowadays, right, the questions are being asked beyond the J.C. Leong. Okay, lots of new terms are being introduced into geography, right? Oh, so what happened? If you are thorough with the J.C. Leong, at least you can guess what the answer is, even if it is not present in the J.C. Leong. Okay, and the physical geography of the earth is there. There also physical geography of India, right? There the physical aspects of India related things are being explained. So this is for the world, right? And NCERT is the physical geography, India. That is for India, guys, right? Then comes the oceanography, right? Lately, they are asking about the corals, what type of minerals are available, right? Where you will be getting, in which type of area, shallow waters, what are the resources you are getting, and the deep waters, what are the resources you are getting, right? What are the technologies involved in the exploitation of the resources present in the oceans, right? How the tides are created. What is the effect of tides in the coastal areas, right? Why the tides are bigger and why the tides are small? Why the ocean currents are there, right? And when you understand this, it becomes easy for your survival. Okay, suppose we come to know that this is the period where the high tides will be there. You will be avoiding going on to the oceans, right? If you understand the oceanic currents, in which areas the oceanic currents are moving, right, or the en masse movement of waters are taking place, whether the moving waters are cold or hot, so automatically you can avoid the places where the currents are there, or you can deliberately enter into that oceanic current so that your sailing can become much more enhanced by the current flows. Okay, so the oceanic exports, right, the oceanic trade can also be easily understood by studying the oceanography. Again, 1-2 questions are generally asked from the oceanography. And distribution of the plants and animals on the earth's surface, right? So when it comes to the distribution of plants and animals on the earth's surface, this is the part of geography, right? But now from few years, right, it has been studied in the different module, environment and ecology. Okay, environment and ecology is the part and parcel of biogeography. Okay, so geography and environment and ecology you cannot cannot segregate. They are interrelated and interdependent. Okay, so the biodiversities, different types of biomes, right, different types of flora, different types of fauna, right, different types of animal habitats, right, aquatic habitats, terrestrial habitats, right, what are the pollutions, right, they are all the parts and parcels of biogeography, right. So the environment and ecology will become very easy to understand if you understand the biogeography. And the recently the environmental pollutions. They're also being put into this category only, environmental pollutions. So from that, maximum of the questions are being asked nowadays. Okay, so each and every aspect of the world here is same here in India. Okay, India is a part and parcel of the world. So whatever you are studying here, right, in India also the same aspects has to be studied, right? And when you are studying this in the Indian aspects, right, the questions are getting doubled. We are talking only about the world, right? So when the other, so let us suppose 2 to 2 to on an average 8 questions are being asked here. Okay, so 8 questions will be coming from India, Indian geography. So 16 questions are directly coming. Okay, and if you are taking this biogeography separately in the form of environment and ecology, right, from past 4 to 5 years, right, the direct questions from the geography are going on reducing, but the direct questions on environment and ecology, that is the biogeography, are increasing. Okay, but if you look at the questions which are being asked in both combined, because you cannot segregate. Once you are studying this, it becomes the part and parcel. So environment, ecology and pollutions are, environment is the pollutions, right? What are the different types of pollutants? How many pollutions are there? Whether they are the pollutions which are causing the disturbances in the atmosphere or they are causing the disturbances on the earth's surface, right? So all these things are associated with geography only. So as such, nearly 25 to 30 questions every year. On an average, at least 25 questions are coming from the geography related aspects, guys, in the preliminary examination. Okay, 25 questions directly are coming from the geography. So many of the people who are associated or who are teaching only environment ecology, they say that environment ecology is entirely different and geography questions are getting reduced. So there is no significance for geography, they say, because from past few years the number of questions asked in geography, direct geography, are decreasing, and the other part, the applied part of geography, environment and ecology, there the questions are been increasing. But on an average, if you look at past 20 to 30 years of question papers, every year on an average 25 to 30 questions are being asked. So on an average, you are having at least 25 questions out of 100 questions. Okay, out of 100 questions, MCQs, okay, MCQs in prelims. Okay, out of 100 MCQs in prelims, 25 questions are related to geography, environment, ecology. Right? If you understand the geography perfectly, then only you will be understanding the environment. And when you understand the environment, you will be understanding the ecology. Okay, so 25 questions are being asked, which means 1/4 of the total questions are from geography and its related subject. Okay, so this is related to the prelims. So in the prelims, what we are telling that out of 100 questions, we are getting around 25. So how the geography is helping in the mains? Okay, GS, we are talking only about the GS, guys, right? If you study the geography, right, how it will be helping in the GS mains. So when we talk about the GS mains, right? So in the GS mains, first we will be talking about the essay part. Okay, the essay part, right? If you look at all the year examinations, this is the first prelims we will be talking about. What we have talked about, prelims, right? 25 questions. That is 1/4 of total, right? In the mains, right? In the mains, number one, essay. Okay, in the essays, if you look at all the topics which are associated or been asked, right, out of that, one topic will be definitely related to geography or environment. Okay, one topic will be definitely related to geography or environment, right? Previously, like when we used to write, we used to have only one section in essays, but now in the essays also section A and section B are being divided. So automatically what's happening? Either in the first section or in the second section, you are having the geography related essay, right? Then comes the paper 1 or the paper 1 of GS. Okay, the paper 1 of GS. So in that, directly the questions are related to the geography, right? So what type of questions are coming in the paper 1, right? The environment, like, the composition of the earthquakes, right? The volcanoes, okay, and all the associated features of geography are being asked here, and the total paper is for 250 marks, right? And when you divide this 250 marks, geography is directly 100 marks, history is directly 100 marks, and the sociological aspects, okay, they are 50 marks, right? But if you study geography, these sociological aspects are also the part and parcel of geography. Okay, so 150 marks here, at least 125 marks in essay, right, are related to geography, right? Here 150 we have taken, but let us scale it down to 125 only. 125 marks in the paper 1. In the paper 2, right, India and its neighbors, right, India and its neighbors, right, India's foreign policies, human developmental indices, they're all the parts and parcels of the geography. Okay, though it is said to be generally when we talk about the paper 2, they say that it is governance and polity, right? So where the governance, how the governance is changing depends on the geography only. Our relationship with the neighboring countries, why we are having the relations in a good manner, and why the relations are getting soured because of the boundary disputes, and the boundary disputes are associated with the geography only, guys. So at least, though they say that it is related to polity and governance, okay, so at least 25 to 30 marks will be related to, 20 to 25 marks will be related to geography. Okay, when it comes to the paper 3, they say that it is economy and the science and technology, right? Economic geography, right? Agriculture, agricultural locations, right? Industrial locations, okay? The disasters, all these are the parts and parcels of geography in the paper 3 also, guys. Okay, so out of 250, we can say at least 50 marks are perfectly related to geography. It will be more than 50, but I am scaling down. Okay, so this is the paper 1, 2, 3 and essay, right? In paper 4 or ethics, the people have not explored the geographical aspects into ethics. So they will be trying to tell what the ethics are, right? How the different religions are trying to explain what the ethics are, right? And what will be our attitude. But you know, our ethics will be depending on our thinking, right? And our thinking will be going on changing according to the environment where we are living. Just for the example, for your easy understanding, if it is a summer season, right? If somebody comes and sits close to you, we feel like asking them to move away because the summers are sultry. We will not be having the air circulation, and if somebody comes, it will feel like it's not obvious for them to sit close. But when it is the winter season, right? If somebody comes and sits close to us, right, our mind will be becoming pleasant because the warmth what we are getting from the next body to us, right? So the thinking process, the same person who is sitting in the summer, we think of kicking him off, and if he is coming and sitting in the winter, we will be feeling delighted because the environment will be changing the thinking processes. Right? There is a reason because of which nowadays they are talking about the creation of viable environment for the development. Okay, so ethics, they have not included geography, but geography is imbibed into ethics without our consciousness. Okay, so how many marks are there? 125, 125, 75, 250 and 75, 325 marks. Right? 325 marks are associated with geography. Okay, 325 marks are associated with geography in the GS and essay parts of the mains. So, this is the importance of geography. Right? And once you understand the geographical aspects, right, it becomes easy for you to understand economy. Okay, because what type of economic activities are there, that can be easily understood when you understand the geography. Okay, because agriculture, wherever agriculture is prospering, again the agriculture related industries will be coming up, right? The exports, you can understand the exports and imports other than the the tertiary activities. Now the computers and electronics exports and imports are taking place. Other than that, the services and that, what are the things you are exporting related to agriculture? What are the things which you are importing related to agriculture can be known. So exports, imports related to agriculture, the industrial locations, the agricultural locations can be easily understood if you understand geography, right? And the disasters, right? So when you talk about the disasters, there are certain specified areas in the world where they are prone for the occurrences of the disasters. They are prone to disasters. So there are the areas specified. The ring of fire is there. That is the area where there are the volcanic eruptions taking place, because all the areas wherever the two plates are joining or diverging, the plate boundaries are known for the disasters generally. Right? And in some of the areas, you are having the volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, right? So the disasters can be easily understood if you study the geography, right? And you can, after all these, right, you can imply your brain for writing the other essays also. Okay, this is the particularly associated with geography. But if you want to write any essay or any question, if you have the geographical knowledge, it becomes the more holistic answer. This is the importance of geography in the mains and the prelims. The books which are required for the world geography, right? For physical geography, right? In physical geography, we have seen that geomorphology, climatology, oceanography and biogeography are there, right? So, for geomorphology, the standard book considered is the Stoller and Stoller. Okay, but that Stoller and Stoller is very heavy for the GS preparation. But if you read this, GS and optional preparation will be completed. That much of information is given in the Stoller and Stoller, right? And only for GS, geomorphology, G.C. Leong, which all you people know, right? G.C. Leong. This is for geomorphology, right? For climatology, again Stoller and Stoller is there, and the Lal, DS Lal book is there for climatology. Okay, oceanography. Specifically to study the oceanography, you are having Wattle and Sharma. Okay, but all these aspects of physical geography are being written in a book called The Physical Geography by Savinder Singh. Okay, Savindra Singh is also there, Savinder Singh is also there, guys. Okay, Savinder Singh, right? So here the language used by Savinder Singh is much more complicated, because each and every sentence which you are having, right, which is written there, right, and the next sentence are not exactly having some coordinations. So it is creating much more complexities among the students than the subject becoming easy. Okay, there is a reason, because of many of the people think that geography is very, very complex, but geography is not at all complex, right? And other than this, for the basics, you have to go with the NCERTs, 8th to 12th. Why everyone will be talking about the NCERTs, guys? Because the language used is very, very easy to understand, and they are the basics which we have studied several years ago. Though at that time we are not knowing that they were important for our examination, because at that time we never thought that we will be coming into the field of civil services or preparation of the any services, state or central services. So we have not given much importance to the NCERT books at that time. But if you read these NCERT books, they will be helping you to understand polity, they will be helping you to understand economy, they will be helping you to understand sciences and also the history and geography. There is a reason because of which we say that you have to read the NCERTs from 8th to 12th. And see, when we were in 8th class, the same book might be very, very difficult for us. But once you come to 12th class and read the 8th class, you will be reading the entire book in 1 week. So that is the reason because of which we ask you to go on with NCERTs, because our mind is much more matured now. And they are the books which are being written for the minds of just like 10 to 12, 15 to 16, 17 years of age, guys. And now we are 10 years more than what they are. So it becomes easy for us to understand. That is the reason because of which we say that you have to read the NCERTs, right? So the biogeography is also there in the Savinder Singh. But for reading the biogeography, for understanding the biogeography very well, right, the biogeochemical cycles, the environment, the pollution, etc., right, one book is there called The Biogeography Environment by P.D. Sharma, right, Environment and Ecology by Kullar and Rao, and very popular among the student community is the Shankar IAS material, right. Like, I want to tell you one thing here, the Shankar IAS material will be giving more of the information, because that people have hired the section of students to look into different sites and different papers each and every day. Whatever new is being given, that will be dumped into their material or their books, right? So information given is more, right? So we think that that is the best book. But for the basics, these are much more better. Okay. So for the new information, you have to go with the Shankar IAS, right? And when it comes to the World Human Geography and Economic Geography, Leong and Morgan is there. Okay. So this is related to the world, right? And to understand the world, you require to have the atlas, because nowadays at least 1 or 2 questions related to atlas are also being asked, guys. How these questions are being asked related to atlas? Like they'll be asking few of the cities which have been attacked by the terrorists, right? Or the cities where the different conventions have taken place, or the meets have taken place, or the summits have taken place. So they will be asking to identify them on the map. Simple. So you have to go with the new summits, the new meets, right? Where the places of their occurrences or the admissions, that has to be taken care, guys. So you have to identify them on the map. Then 1 or 2 questions related to the maps will become easy. Okay. So this is related to the world geography, right? The world geography books. Okay. And when it comes to the Indian geography, when it comes to the Indian geography, right? India by Kuller. Okay, India by Kuller, and Human Geography by Maziz Hussain. Yeah. Same Maziz Hussain has also written the book on physical geography, guys. Okay. Same Maziz Hussain has written the book on physical geography as the Savinder Singh has wrote. Right. So this Maziz Hussain was the member of the UPSC board. So at that time, he has written the book, and most of the questions which were asked by the board members were from his books. There is a reason because of which his books have become much more famous. So Maziz Hussain book is also there for the physical geography. So this is related to the Indian geography, Kuller and the Maziz Hussain. Okay, so these are the important books which you have to read for both the prelims and the mains and the GS and the optional. Right, because in the GS they have said that the geography of the world. So geography of the world is same for GS and the optional. Indian geography is the same for the GS and the optional. Only the approach will be differing. Only the approach will be differing for the mains and the prelims, guys. Right. But if you are taking coaching from me, right, if you are joining my classes, right, there is no necessity for you to read any of these books. All these books, NCERT, Savinder Singh, Maziz Hussain, Kuller, Stroller, Lal, Wattal Sharma, PD Sharma, Shankar IAS, Leong Morgan, I have churned them, taken out the juices of all this, and I have created my notes. Not only information of all these books are present in our notes, that information which is useful or most appropriate as our UPSC standards of questions, that will be present in our materials. Okay, so I have taken all of them. Not only this, I have taken the information from the local people in several of the areas, because I used to go and teach in Delhi, where lots of people will be coming from different regions. So I will be asking them, what is the specialty of your region? What is there in your region? So that also included into my materials, right? And I have also taken the important materials from the scientific journals which have been published by the international communities, right? I have also gathered the information from the sites of NASA. Okay, guys, there is a reason because of which my geography material will be entirely different from all these, and it is much more simplified, so that if you read them, right, the love for geography will be enhanced, right? If you read direct Stroller and Stroller, high level of English, right? If you read Savinder Singh, confusing level of English. If you read Maziz Hussain, very easy but not correctly explained. But if you come to our notes, the class materials, right? Most probably, like within few months, I will be coming out with my book, guys. So my material will be much more than enough, right? Except the contemporaries. Okay, except the contemporaries, right? My books are enough for the total of the GS and also the world, the optional geographies, right? Here, like there are no materials, perfect materials available for the space and universe. Okay, even from the space and the universe also, we are getting some questions in the prelims. right? But that is not present in any of these books, right? I have come with that aspects of space also in my material. How the space is created, what is universe, what is Big Bang theory, what are the other theories which are trying to explain the origin of the universe, what are the theories which are trying to explain the origin of the earth, where our earth is present in the universe, right? What is the distance between the earth and the sun, why the Oort clouds are present somewhere, why the distant areas are colder, right? Are there any galaxies, are there any planets present in the galaxy or the universe where the life is possible? All these things are explained in my materials. So hope you got an insight of the different books and my materials, and hope they will be helping you to get through the prelims and mains with ease. Thank you guys.